Hi beautiful YouTubers, welcome to my channel. My name is Andrea. Thank you very much for clicking onto this channel. So without further ado, let's get into the reason why you click onto this channel. So it's the beginning of another year. We've all made New Year's resolution, especially with this pandemic that we have experienced for the past 2+ years. Who would have thought it would have gone on this long? Whether that be losing weight, gain weight, for a few, not everyone wants to lose weight. Whether that be bank more money, have more cash, whatever your New Year's resolution is, we've all possible made it thinking that, oh yeah, we're going to foresee. And by the way, in further video, I will explain why it may not be that great for you to make New Year's resolution. Let's continue. What if I tell you that studies have shown that the new pandemic could possibly be mental illness? And what if I tell you the most single thing that you can do is protect your mental space? You can protect your mental space by exactly what this topic says, eliminating certain friends or toxic friends from your environment. You go to work, you possibly cannot avoid a toxic coworker. However, within your personal space, you should be able to avoid toxic friends. And that will be the single best thing that you can do for your mental illness, physically and mentally. Because physical illness and mental illness go hands in hands. Let's get into the reason why. First, picture it. Sicily, 19. That's a famous line from Rose from The Golden Girls, a show that I obsessed with, keep watching reruns until now. But that's not the reason why you click. Let's get into the reason why. I'll give you 4 incidents that happened throughout my years as far as friends are concerned. The first incident, I was extremely young, I would say. I was about 14, 15. Now, I didn't grow up in an environment that was extremely rich. I didn't grow up in a rich environment. However, I also did not grow up in a poor environment. I'd say somewhat middle class, maybe 49%, maybe not 50, middle class. So there was quite a few of us living in the home because, you know, when you're living in a third world country, you often share houses, not just with one person, one family. So it was my aunt and there was quite a few kids living there. My family went out and they bought a couch. However, the couch had 4 posts. During playing and wear and tear, actually, it was not even that old. One of the kids, not sure which one it was, could have been me, broke 1 foot of the couch. You know those couches that had those 4 feet, those 4 long posts? My grandfather, being the smart genius that he was, he went out and of course they were constantly building houses. He took, excuse me, those blocks that you know and put it under the foot of the couch because who have time to take the couch or go, you know, it was just an easy fix. So my friend that I thought was a best friend came over and then she played, she would spend the weekends over. Now you're in school. You're very self-conscious as it is. She went to school and she started spreading rumors that we couldn't afford a couch and that there was a block holding up the couch. I have never been so embarrassed and try to fit in because as a child you always try to fit in. That was my first incident with my so-called, what I thought best friend. She was the only friend that I had at the time, so-called best friend. My second incident was, now my first degree was an associate degree. And after getting my associate degree, you could not tell me that it was not a master's degree. Number one, I would go to school be my first class thing around 7. I'd leave school, I think around noon, 1, then I'd actually that's not true. I'd leave school later in the afternoon, maybe 2, 3, and I'll be on the late shift working. Actually, I was actually working at Victoria's Secret at the time. And I'll be the one to close since I get there so late, I'll be the one to close. So that means me leaving at midnight because with Victoria's Secret, you know, you go in and you see those perfectly manicured tables, underwear perfectly stocked, perfectly folded, bra, everything. That happened with the late night shift. That has to do it before you actually leave to go home. So I would get home possible midnight, 1, because I still have to take the subway home. So because I have to work so hard for that degree, you could not tell me I did not gain a master's degree. I thought I was on top of the world. You could not, I wasn't arrogant, but I just got my degree. You couldn't talk to me. Now, my first job was from working experience from that degree. I got hired by the person, just kept me on. There was another girl that also got hired. She tried everything she possibly could to get me to eventually lose that job because the boss, my manager, actually he was the owner, was very friendly towards me. Not that type of friendliness, because he was married. I don't think he was trying to be with me or anything like that. But, you know, because when you have a good personality and you have a good heart, people tend to envy you for that. Eventually, she did succeed, and I did lose the job. That was the second incident. My third incident was with a friend that I met on my current job. She left the job, God, years ago, because she went to pursue law school, and she was staying with me for months. Never charge her, never ever say XYZ, pay this, pay that, nothing, just sleep and whatever. So I was out, she called me, she had a date, and she asked, can I borrow one of your shirts? I'm like, sure. I never expected this child to actually go in, take out the best shirt that I had with the tag still on, and wear it. That was the first incident with her. I remember I went to go visit her when she finally moved out, and I had my clothes on, she had hers on, and then she went in the bathroom, she started crying. I'm like, why are you crying? Oh, I can't, nothing can fit me, and look at you looking so perfectly, whatever. And quite a few other incidents, which I don't want to get into, happened with her that made me realize this child was just being envious for no reason at all, under no control of mine. Third incident was also with another friend on the job. For some reason, you ever heard of snake in the grass? You just don't know that they're there. That's what some friends are. The snake in the grass, you don't know that they're there. So we were friends for years and years and years and years. Did not know this child was very envious. I have no idea why. No reason why. I don't even know why anyone should be envious of me, per se. So I remember she got married, and she did not invite me to the wedding, yet we're friends. Years later, she would call me up. I just want to see how you're doing. But I realized most friends in my life, they disappear and they would call just to see what is going on in my life, mainly my personal life. So she would call, and then I'd say, oh. And then she would explain she got married. She didn't invite me to the wedding because she didn't have my number. But it was pretty much the same number that you're calling me on right now. So how did you get that number? Never ask her, because sometimes it's better to just leave things as it is. Be in silence. You know who the person is. Keep your distance, because there's no need to go back and forth for someone to deny what they're doing, what they say, because you know they will deny what they're saying. Finally, I think in life, whether it's be personal relationship or platonic, boyfriend, husband, whenever someone break up or cut you off, it's not just because of one incident. Just understand it's a combination of things that actually builds up over time, and one thing could be the final straw, or there might be a timeline that person decide that they're just gonna, that's it. So whenever someone decides to not be your friends, it's not just because they're crazy or it's out of the blue. Nothing is ever out of the blue. Just remember, everything has a cause and effect. So finally, she came back into my life about a year ago. We were talking, yada yada, and she wanted to come to my house. Oh, we could keep up, we could talk. And well, first when she called me, she wanted to know about like clockwork. I knew this would happen. Like clockwork, she wanted to know about my personal life. Who am I dating? Who am I seeing? Am I married? I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I played it along. And then weeks would go by, and she wanted to come to my house. Oh, we could hang out, we could talk. And then I thought about it. I'm like, do you really want to let these person back into your life? And the answer was no. I sent her a text. And the baseline of text was, I don't feel comfortable with the relationship. I don't, I'd like to move on past our friendship, yada, just very straightforward, no hiding. And then she sent me back a text, which was not so nice. But that was that. I think in life you have to make choices to realize that friends are here for a time, a season, or a reason. I think we all get so, should I say, brainwashed by the movie Sex and the City and thinking that we're supposed to have best friends, and this is like, Sex and the City is a fairy tale. It's a show. It's very rare that you'll find four friends that are so, should I say, cohesive, that, you know, will have your back, do whatever it takes, regardless of what the situation is, as it does in Sex and the City. And I think that's what we have to get out of our mind, that Sex and the City is a movie. It's great to have a friend. It's great to even have a best friend. However, because you don't have a best friend doesn't make you any less of a person, doesn't make you any less than what, let's say, Sex and the City, quote unquote, pretend to be. It doesn't make you any less. Do not use friends to validate who you are. Do not use friends to dictate the choices that you make in life. Do not hang on to friends that is pretty much a burden onto you. That's the first rule. Mental illness is, again, especially with the pandemic that's going on, will become the next pandemic. And that could be avoided, just like it could be controlled, just like diabetes can be controlled. You can control what you put into your mouth, just like you can control the type of friends that you surround yourself with, because the friends, believe it or not, plays a major role in your environment. The thing you could ever do to yourself is learn how to be your own best friend. You have to learn how to spend time with yourself. Once you discover the art of that, you're good to go. I'll give you a quick story. I remember years ago while I was working, I went to a restaurant and did not know how to sit down and eat by myself because I was so embarrassed. I was afraid everyone was watching me because, oh, there she is eating alone. I went into the restaurant, I thought I was bold enough, and then I saw everyone sitting eating, and then I couldn't do it. I ordered my food to go. I could not even find space to eat my food because this was in New York City, and try finding somewhere that is quiet, less crowded to eat. And then that's something that over the years I try to work on. Now I almost always, well, not always, but most of the time I go out and I eat alone. The best thing for me is to go to a restaurant and eat by myself. I enjoyed my own company. I, don't even have to be in a fake relationship or talk over someone or eat in between and wait a second, let me chew to answer question. You sit, and it's kind of like a form of meditation. It's kind of like a serenity when you sit by yourself and eat, because guess what? When you sit alone and eat alone, you take in the environment. You actually take in the environment and enjoy more. You observe more. You pay attention more. You pay attention to you more. So the best and first single thing that you can do is to learn to love yourself, learn to be your best friend, which is something I have accomplished. I spend, whenever I'm not at work, I spend about 85 to 90% of the time home. And it's something that I love. They keep asking, what do you do at home? Yeah, I don't talk to the walls because they don't talk back, but I actually enjoy being at home. I find so many things to do. When you spend time by yourself, you get so much accomplished. My house is sparkling clean because that's what I do. I clean, I organize, and I learn to declutter. So learn to spend time with yourself. That is the single best thing that you can do, period, point blank. You also have to remember that if someone, when it comes to friends, if they cannot be the captain of your ship, they will sink it. You have to remember, a lot of friends wish you well, but they hate it when you get there. For example, I may say to you, oh, let's say Susan, oh, Susan, yeah, go at that, do that. You can do it. And then when Susan finally achieves what she does, there's red coming out of my eyes, because that red is caused by envy. I am so envious of her, even though I was cheering her along. I was cheering her along because I never thought she would get there. That's what a lot of friends are to you. So you have to be very careful, and you have to be very selective when choosing your friends. The funny thing is, we'll go to the store, we'll search through catalogs, we'll search through shoes, we'll search through racks for days. If you're like my mother, she'll go to the store and she literally spend in one store 6 hours going through clothes, literally. And sometimes she comes out with nothing. But that's how selective we are when it comes to putting stuff on our body, shoes, accessories. But when it comes to our mental space, or friends, and even boyfriends, anything goes. You have to put yourself as your first priority. You have to let yourself be the queen or the king, whatever that might be, of yourself. Like, you can't just go around and choosing any friends just because society said you're supposed to have a friends, or society, you're trying to validate yourself by the amount of friends. What I call friends are Facebook friends. If you, God forbid, you should feel very suicidal tomorrow, do you really have one contact in your phone that you could say, I feel confident, I can call this person will not only talk me out of it, but will not go back to Mary Jane and Tom and whatever and spread your business? Do you really have that one contact? If you don't, you need to reassess the type of friends that you have. You need to organize, so you, if you can't afford or have that type of friend, let you be your best friend. And like I said earlier, spend time with yourself and let you be your best friends. Also have to remember, it doesn't matter, you may have friends that you may think change, because the last incident that I gave you with this friend, it's been about 10 years since we spoke. So I'm thinking she's more mature, she's changed, she silently brag, she married a millionaire, whatever. So I'm thinking, you're doing good, so there's no need for you to be envious of anyone, because you are doing good. But you have to remember, be careful of the people that you let in your life, because it doesn't matter how much a snake shed its skin, it is still a snake. You have to remember, Susan might say she's mature, she's changed, but the core of a person is still there. The core of that person will always remain, for the most part, remains the same. Someone that's want to change is someone that is willing and voluntarily work on themselves. Some people are not willing to do that, because people are not willing to look in the mirror to see who they are. Some people do not want to see who they are. So you literally have to be careful of the type of friends that you not only allow into your life, but allow back into your life. When it comes to friends, you have to remember, sometimes it's better just not to go after revenge, because this is called a timepiece, and it never runs out. And there's also karma. Karma is, again, cause and effect. There is no need to go after someone, because the timepiece and karma will do the work for you. Karma is not, some people say, oh, karma, it's voodoo. First of all, what is voodoo? If you think voodoo is real, please tell the person that is working that voodoo to be rich. Because if they were a good voodoo worker, whatever, they would be rich. They would be millionaires by now. At least for me, I would wish the voodoo unto me, please bring me millions. So karma is none of that. Karma is literally cause and effect. You attract what you are. You're a bad person, that's literally what you will attract in your life. So again, when it comes to friends, be very careful, be very selective, and be even more selective of who you allow back in your life. Do not think Sex and the City is real life. Do not think Sex and the City is the fuel that dictate how you should live, how you should act, the type of friends that you are. No. It's okay to actually be by yourself. It's okay to be in a relationship with yourself. It is okay. It's even to a point, because some envious is good, it's even to a point to maybe watch and say, oh, I wish I had a best friend like that. However, do not wish to have just any friends into your life, as that can be more detrimental to you. So the very best thing that you can do for your New Year's resolution is to be very careful of the type of friends that you let into your life. Let New Year's resolution be the year that you will clean, especially with 2022, with what's going on with COVID. Let it be the year that you will clean house. Let it be the year that you will learn to love yourself, be with yourself. So that's all I have to say, my lovely. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.